Hello everybody and welcome to a time-lapse painting. This one is of blazing sunset, an 18 by 24 inch painting, and this is the final product of the video. As you can see, it's very sharp, lots of little pointy things sticking out. And the feel I was going for in this one was end of a day feel after a long day, wherein you notice that you've had a lot of things happening and it was kind of chaotic and you had to jump from here to there and make a lot of decisions. Kind of the feeling the vibe. I feel like I did a good job capturing that through the choppy skies and the choppy sea and sailing into the sunset. Feeling somewhat victorious of getting through it. And here I am painting the underpainting, or maybe just the sketching of how I'm gonna, a better way to put it, I mean, is to talk about, not underpainting, but how I'm gonna set up the clouds. And now here we are already at the laying out the modeling paste mixed with paint, because the modeling paste is mostly clear or like hazy, very hazy. So we mix it with paint, and this is, I mixed what, like a green teal, dark, very dark green teal, because I'm gonna use that color to contrast with the sunset. The sunset's kind of like a reddish orange, and green and red usually contrast because they're complements. And as always, I chose to do that painting with my favorite brush, I think it's about a 1.5 inch wide fan brush, but it's all beat up now and it's more like a cat's tongue, like a filbert brush than a fan brush, but still does the job perfectly, just the way I like it. And I also sharpened the back of it like a pencil, just as a extra tool for removing things or drawing lines or just getting into little spots where a sharp tip is needed. And here I am painting the sea, and I forego the thin round brush I usually use to draw the horizon, usually to draw the little small clouds of sea in the horizon. This time I just decided to go straight with the fan brush because of how choppy the sea is. And for the reference of the sea, I used a bunch of different pictures and looked at other people's paintings, and I was like, oh, I like this portion and that portion of this, and then I kind of just put it all together. For the clouds though, I took a picture of right after it rained. I was camping on the coast of Lake Superior, Michigan, and it just finished raining, and I went to the beach, and it's just a nice sunset, and these clouds were just doing a nice little dance. So I use that as the reference for it. You just saw me put a blue translucent layer, just glazing it, so I can kind of get a better feel of how I'm gonna paint the boat. Just kind of having, because I want to fill in the white. The white kind of, when I'm working in it, I'm having a tough time relating or thinking or imagining the boat. But once I make it blue, the sky and the sea and the clouds kind of just come together, so I can kind of better position the boat and size it. And whenever I make boats now, I have a ridiculously large folder of photos of boats, and I have a bunch of tabs open in my in my internet browser of just descriptions of boats and how the sails work. I still don't know anything about boats though, ironically, but I know how to draw them. And I chose the boat. I like traveling into the sunset, not away from it. It's like you feel like, hey, taking challenges head on. We ain't running away. We're going straight into that. Guns blazing. As you can see, for the boats, for the sails, I usually will do more than one layer. Actually, I always do more than one layer. The first layer is always just get in the shape, make sure it looks good or shaped well, and then following layers are just to build the 3D structure of it. so that it's nice and smooth and it doesn't look weird from different angles. Because I've come to realize that the most challenging part about making these paintings is when you look at them from different angles. It's easy to tell the shapes from straight on, but when you're coming in from the side, you gotta make sure. I gotta look at it and make sure that the depth of one side and the peak of another shape matches, so it gives the 3D quality, that the relief sculpture like quality. And I really like doing the things this way, mostly because I really want to beat digital media. That's really it. In my mind, I'm competing against digital media, and one way to beat them is you have to be able to touch the painting. So I hope that, or I encourage my patrons to touch the painting, because after I finish it, I will put a nice layer, three layers of varnish, of like the satin, semi, slightly glossy varnish, more satin, and then, it protects the layer. So if it ever gets dirty, you can just take a nice water rag and just take it off, and it dries off, and that protective layer is gonna keep it protected for a long time. And if you need to protect it again, you can just actually do it yourself. Just take a nice thin layer of varnish and paint over it. Just make sure it's acrylic varnish or for acrylic paint. But yeah, I really encourage people to touch the painting, because you don't get to touch digital media, but you get to touch 3D media, and it feels cool. And just a reminder of, hey, life is more about touch than just sitting around looking at stuff, even though I'm guilty of spending lots of time just looking at things on my computer, pictures and digital media. This is a nice reminder for me to go out there and do things that require me to touch. As you can see, I'm on my third layer, yeah, of the sails. And this is the boat is from the back, so I have to finish the sails and then redraw the mast that holds them up. And just drawing the little things that hold the sails. I don't know what those are called. And then reworking the body of the ship again. Again, I always have a difficult time with the body of the ship, just because if the front is farther away than the back, then I gotta make the back pop out. But if I make it pop out too much, it looks really wonky. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you try it for yourself, you'll understand it. So I would really encourage you to get in there and do it. Just get some modeling paste, or you can also get gel medium. Make sure it's acrylic. You can also do it with oils, but oils are expensive and dry forever. Yeah, just go acrylic. It's so much more cost efficient, time efficient, and also when it dries faster, you don't make the mistake that I do of like accidentally touching the surface while it dries, and you mess it up and you gotta rework it. Because if you wait like a week with oil so to dry and then you mess it up, then you gotta work it again. It's just such a pain. So yeah, acrylics are very good for this. You could also paint with oils over the acrylics if you can paint it over with. So you could just do this whole thing without any color, just build the layers of texture, and then you can paint over it with some kind of absorbent medium, maybe a gesso, maybe there's some kind of other, I haven't looked into it, but then you can paint over with oils. And I've been thinking of doing it, I just usually don't, because again, I like acrylics for their drying time, and because I work on many paintings at once, I feel like I would make me have to work on even more paintings at once, because I'm usually between 8 to 12 paintings I'm working on, because while I work on one, the other's dry, and then I switch it up and switch it up and switch it up, so that gives me as much work as I can. Usually if I don't work on that many paintings at once, I'm doing social media, marketing, website stuff, editing videos like this. Yeah, it's a full day, full time, lots of full. I don't spend too much time doing anything else other than this, which which is actually kind of nice. I don't know, like the more I do this, the more I want to do this, and the less I want to do anything else. So it's kind of giving me a nice structure for life and a good direction where I kind of pick and choose where I'm very stingy with my time now. Like I don't, if I'm doing something and I start thinking about painting, I don't know, it's not for me. So it's like, oh, like I could be, I don't know, playing a sport or something, and if I feel like I could be painting instead, I drop it and get back to this. But here, anyway, let's talk about the painting some more. And this is the sea foam. Obviously, you've been watching me do it. The crest of the waves. This is a little bit tedious. Still enjoyed doing it. Just tedious because there's a lot of little, you gotta just get every single little pokey part coming up. You gotta form it to come up, you know. And then you don't want to make it look too uniform because then it doesn't look like water. But you don't want to make it look not uniform because then it's like it doesn't follow the vibe of the painting. So I'm just, extra thinking. So I usually listen to podcasts, music, just have the headphones on, listen to stuff. But when I do the seafoam, I really don't pay too much attention to what I'm listening to. Another cool thing I realized about listening to things is after I finish the painting, I can look at the painting and then remember the things I was listening to while I was making it. I don't know if you can hear my dog barking in the background. She's kind of a mean old dog. Side note. She's really nice to me, but when she wants to bark, she just gets going. Anyway, the seafoam is definitely mentally intensive because I gotta make a lot of this small decisions over and over again, and then I gotta look across the sea to make sure that it matches the flow and the theme and the just the fundamentals of what makes a painting good. So I can't have one side be too detailed and the other side not have detail, and then I have to have one side balance the other. So I have to think about a lot about the crests of the waves. Sometimes some waves don't have foam on them, they're just waves. But because I want more chaos in this painting, creating the crests of the waves definitely adds to that feeling or that vibe. Now we're just about done with that here. I mean, just the last little details. And then we go into glazing, or another way to put it is adding thin translucent paint. That was a quick, yeah. Again, that's what my camera dies quickly, so we missed a little bit of that footage. I have 2 batteries, but they don't last long anymore, and I have to always look up. And if I forget to look up, oh, someone's dead, and then I just literally spent half an hour painting and not recording. But anyway, what do you do? Here we are painting the second layer of the clouds. I wasn't too happy with the first one, and it laid a little bit flat in some areas. And then what I did here was I threw on a nice glab with the fan brush, and I came back in it with my thin round brush to just add a bit more curly cuteness to it, just a little bit more illustrativeness. Just make the eyes go in every direction. And like I said, more chaotic approach is nice here. At the end of the day, it's a tough one. And now I'm going over those older clouds, those green ones with a bluer color, because of course this blue contrasts with orange, and I like contrast. I like lots of different colors, or or vibrant colors, I should say. I usually save the neutrals more for landscapes, but for the sea I like to go a little bit more poppy. Excuse me. I don't know if you noticed, I got a haircut just recently, and by got a haircut I mean I cut my own hair. I don't have the patience to go to a barber and wait, or schedule it, or just do it myself. And after I dried it, we're back to the translucent glazing. Just throw purple in the middle, more light blue towards the top, go nice and dark in the middle, and then go into the orange sunset area. Yeah, it's so funny how fast that happens when I see me do this, because you don't get to really see me use the spray bottle. I have a spray bottle that I've used for a long time from the dollar store. I've had it for years, and what I like to do is spray the whole surface with water and then go over it, and then I just let gravity do the work. I did a bunch of different layers, right? So more purple in the middle, and that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It was fun making that painting, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to see what I did. Take care.